One was born in Jersey Village.
Oh my gosh. Those ones. Are you really, John? It's my birthday. No, don't do that. No child ever needs to be done that way. My mother was like, oh, you have to wait till Christmas. That is squeaky. That would be sad. That's now who's expecting? They already have one child? A little girl, a little boy? Oh, that's sweet. Well, this is my third one that went off to college this time. Got one that went to state. I'm never going to be able to stand red in our house or not. Anything but blue.
First time.
Not West of your dad. Their daughter actually is a junior in college, so they've had infants for 2 years. But they've been arrested. Wes was graduated and he was out last year, but he got in law school. Busy time. Hey, Jim.
Would you hear it? I said everything's moving except traffic and rain.
That's yours. That's yours, Mr. Secretary.
We thank everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to call
I just looked at it briefly.
meeting, the August 19th, 2013, Pitt County Board meeting to order. Jill, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We would like to remember all of our new teachers, especially beginning work this year, and all of our faculty that's coming back to school. We hope that we have a smooth beginning of the school year. We appreciate all what senior staff has done in preparing for our students, and I know some of the parents are going to be happy that school started back, but we want to remember all of our faculty and staff and students. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, routine business, adjustment to the agenda. I would like to be able to pull from the agenda under new business, operations committee update, the discussion of resolution authorizing the upset bid process for board approval. The operations committee and the finance committee will meet together next Monday, and we'll have much more information to be able to provide the board, and it will be much more detailed. So I would like...
I'll second that.
Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you pulling item 4A1 or all of A?
I am pulling it 6A1.
Duh, I know Roman numerals. Six, just that part?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I made the motion. Sean seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. expression, no public expression. Spotlight on teaching and learning, a brief overview of teaching and learning. That's Tom Teller, Bill Frazier, and Seth Brown, and Tim DeCreasy.
Good evening.
Hey. Hello.
Seth Brown. I'm going to start us off this evening and talk about our summer teacher support and training that we did this summer. Tim DeCreasy is behind the video camera. I speak for him as well, but he created a video that's going to highlight the three main components we had this summer. The first one is the Beginning Teacher Induction Program. It's a program that was conducted in partnership with the TQP program with ECU. Bill Frazier and his crew of coaches were instrumental in that program. It was a great partnership, and it really created a very powerful framework for us to use to make sure our teachers gained confidence. Those first-year teachers never have taught a year a day. Make sure they gained confidence, make sure they felt prepared, they developed relationships with others, and it was very successful and an important program. That partnership, I think, is something that I'll be talking to you guys about as well in the future. But Bill Frazier and that crew really helped out. Tim DeCreasy coordinated the Tech Fest program. This is the 8th year we've had Tech Fest, which is our technology integration, trying to make sure that teachers know what to do as far as integrating technology into the classrooms, putting it in the hands of the kids. This was done for the 8th year at no cost to the district, which makes everybody happy. And the video, of course, Tim created for us, so that'll help promote everything.
Good evening. I'm Thomas Feller, and I work with the Curriculum Summer Institute, which we actually held out at D.H. Conley. This year it was 3 days. Last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had about 750 teachers that pre-registered, which I guess is about a third of our teaching staff, so that was really exciting. And one of the new things that we did this year was we actually, in addition to bringing in outside trainers and presenters, we opened it up to presentations by our own teachers. So of the 85 sessions we had, between 30 and 40 of those were presented by our own teachers on things that they were doing in their classrooms that they had seen success with and that they wanted to share with other people. So that was one of the highlights for the week. And I'll leave the video to share some of the rest.
You've got a couple things in your packet. One is hand out some of the key slides with the text. If you have trouble reading, you can see that. Also with the TQP program, they have a little booklet as well, so you can look through that as well. But we will start with the
Schools Tech Fest has lots of benefits for teachers, for schools, and ultimately for students. I think at the root of why teachers go to Tech Fest is to improve instruction and trying to move to student-centered instruction. Teachers need methods that allow them to do that, and that's where technology can really have a huge benefit in the classroom. One of the most effective things about Tech Fest is the fact that teachers are teaching other teachers. Most of us would much more go into a presentation where a teacher is telling us how they've used a method or a technology resource in their classroom and just figured it out how it works, or a website we can go to and look at. So that one-on-one, hand-to-hand, being able to see how technology works in the classroom had a tremendous effect. And that's one of the biggest benefits I think that I see at Tech Fest. As Pitt County schools and other schools move to more student-centered instruction, technology plays a crucial role in being able to make that happen in the classroom. And Tech Fest is one of those methods by which we can watch that happen for Pitt County schools and for teachers in general.
That's a brief overview. Mr. Tim DeCreasy actually put out on the tables as well in the white box is a Tech Fest mug. I don't know if you guys remember those from last year and years past, but they've got good deals throughout the year, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. But if you have any questions, we're willing to answer them.
Anyone have any questions?
I do.
All right, proceed.
I want to know how many times I can go to Sheets and get a refill.
All month long.
Thank you.
Just speak to didn't somebody come in, there was a Freedom Rider, the author of the Freedom Riders come in and speak, and just, if y'all just talk about that.
Thursday at CSI, our keynote presenter was Manuel Scott, who was one of the original students of Aaron Gruel, who was the teacher that the movie Freedom Riders was based on. So he really just told his life story of how basically the struggles he had as a kid, the kind of life he grew up in, living, and then the impact that that teacher had on his life, and a couple other people had on his life, to really turn him around and put him on the right path. And so, long story short, he graduated high school and is now working on his PhD through the University of Chicago, and he travels the country working with schools, with districts, with nonprofits, just really focusing on helping teachers, reminding them that, the impact that one teacher can have, never give up on a child. And also, he does a lot of work as well with dropout prevention, working actually with the students. So it was a really, there were a couple hundred people there for that session. It was really quite amazing.
I heard it was very inspirational in the fact that maybe we could get him to come back and speak to some of our high schools, and
That would be
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I heard good things about it too. Caused a lot of.
Talk.
Any other comments? Gee,
I would just say that these three things make me really proud. Y'all did a great job. I mean, what a great resource for our teachers.
and I think it's great that, Tech Fest has been going on for several years, but to have 550 teachers that are present, that has really grown. I can remember when it first started, it's hard to get the teachers to attend, but now they're really interested in it. And also that TQP project with the partnership with ECU, that they are on board and teaching what we're doing here in Pitt County, and with the instructional part of it, that helps a lot. Jim?
I think I know the answer to this question. I don't know about the beginning teachers, but for the other two programs, do the teachers get paid to attend those programs?
No, it's volunteer, so they come on their own.
So what percentage came voluntarily?
Well, we had about 750 teachers that came to CSI, so that's about a third of the teaching staff. And we haven't figured out yet how much overlap there was between Tech Fest and CSI. I know there were some that were both, but I anticipate there were some that came to just one or the other. So when you start combining all those numbers, it's actually a pretty good percentage of our teachers that just come on their own and say, this is something I want to do.
And this production is on the website, is it not?
It will be. It will be.
It's not now.
It's on YouTube
right now. It's on
Okay.
Link it to the website.
So it'll be linked to the website.
Actually, Brock, you want to show them? Brock is working on something that's going to be a regular item on the website.
Some of you probably remember getting your packets toward the end of last year, the walk in the halls. The things going on in our schools. Well, this is the first video edition of that, and I went to CSI and used that as a platform for creating this. And this will give you, it's very brief, so it's 2 minutes if you don't mind.
Sure.
And this will give you an idea of what you can expect, and we'll also have on the YouTube site throughout the year. Hopefully weekly is the goal, so going into schools. It gets better from this picture.
It's like the preview, we don't want to sit there.
This is the premiere video edition of Walk in the Halls. There are hundreds of wonderful things going on inside Pitt County schools every day, and many times people don't know anything about them. With Walk in the Halls, we aim to change that by publicizing the efforts for which we should all be so proud. We hope you enjoy this attempt to keep you informed about the positive things happening in Pitt County schools. Thank you for your time. This week, we walked the halls of D.H. Conley High School, where more than 700 educators gathered recently for the Curriculum Summer Institute. The event helps teachers learn how to implement district initiatives, interact with educational experts, and network with other teachers. Attendance for CSI has nearly tripled during the past 3 years, a spike that Pitt County Schools Race to the Top coordinator Tom Feller attributes to a couple of factors. Number one, we really tried to make it more relevant to what the teachers are doing. This year, one of the big changes is we've added some of the district initiative training in, so teachers can come here and get their training rather than being pulled out of the classroom and receive it. We've brought in Kleenex the last couple of years. Manny and Dave, who's
just, real inspirational. So I think a lot of those things all come together and just make it a more desirable event to go to. I think
In addition to more than 80 sessions promoting best practices for improving student achievement, attendees also interacted with educational experts such as Manny Scott, a student of Aaron Gruwell, whose story was told in the Hollywood blockbuster Freedom Riders. Other speakers included educational consultant Dr. Anthony Muhammad and neuroscientist Dr. Judy Willis. James Mader, an expert in reaching at-risk kids through music and drums, also worked with teachers. Feller says many of the recent positive changes for CSI are the result of the district responding to teacher needs.
So we're really going to try to figure out what teachers' needs are. We've been listening to what they're asking for in terms of training, and we're trying to offer that here. So, in that sense, we're being more responsive.
With CSI and other summer initiatives behind them, teachers now set their sights on the first weeks of school. Pitt County System-wide Open House is August 22nd, and students return August 26th.
Again, we'll be posting this on our YouTube site as well and providing links to teachers and putting it on the Facebook page so parents and everyone can have access to it as well.
Good job.
Good job. Very good. Very good presentation. Thank you, Todd, Seth, and Tim. Appreciate it. Do I have a motion on the consent item?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we break them up into A and B to vote separately, please.
Okay. Any problems with that? A,
Move to approve consideration of minutes from the regular board meeting held August 5th, 2013.
Second.
okay. Jill made the motion, and Robert seconded. All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, consideration of the second personnel report. Jill?
I move that we approve the second personnel report for August 2013.
Second.
Jill made the motion, and Mary seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, if Sean's got a problem with it, I'd like to make a motion we carry it to closed session. Because I'd like to know what the problem is.
Second.
I'd like to make a motion that we carry it to closed session.
We have a motion on the floor.
Question about it.
I'm going to vote against approving just to go on record, I will be voting against it, but I don't believe it's anything that would be, anything that would be brought to any resolution or, could be, it's nothing for resolution, let me say that.
All right.
I'll withdraw.
But thank you.
All those who approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. One in opposition, Sean. Okay, new business, let's skip down to B, Educational Programs and Services Committee Report. Benji and Cheryl.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we met as a committee on Thursday, August the 8th. We did have a quorum, Mr. Chairman, and I'm going to, at this time, ask Cheryl if she'll come forward and lead us through those items that we discussed and took action on.
Good evening.
Hey, Cheryl.
Let me go through the minutes then from August 1st, 2003. We had committee members, present board members were Jill Cammons, Nova Cancel, Benji Forrest, Barbara Owens, and Christine Waters. Mr. Forrest chaired the meeting in Mark's absence. He declared a quorum. There were 3 topics of discussion. The first one was the school support model that Human Resources and Educational Programs and Services has been working on to support the schools. And basically, the model is a model using a rubric for identifying the support that schools should get so that it's a little bit more objective and based on a total of a rubric and then a 1 through 4 rubric. There's 9 areas of criteria that we use to identify the support needed. And that was teacher turnover rate, reading and math proficiencies, free and reduced lunch status, student growth, principal experience, EVOS data, which is a reading of the effectiveness of a school, percentage of beginning teachers, and then DPI support. We gave a rubric of 1 to 4 for each of those 9 areas for each school K-8. And this is a K-8 model right now. 4 being a school needing the high support in that area. For instance, if you look at the teacher turnover rate, we scored the teacher turnover rate as if you had less than or equal to 12% of the teacher turnover rate, your rubric score was a 1, which means minimal support. If you had greater than 30% teacher turnover rate, then it would be a 4, because you need more support in that area. Excuse me. So we went through the 9 areas and we assigned them a rubric. And then we totaled up all the rubric numbers once we finished with that. Based on each individual criteria, whether or not you got a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we created a model of suggested strategies that the school should use. Trainings that we can offer, suggestions on things that they can do. For instance, if your turnover rate is higher than 30%, we would allow you to use Title I funds to help incent or recruit. If your rubric was a 1, which is less than 12%, then you wouldn't be allowed to use Title I funds because it wouldn't be needed. So we tried to give guidance and some strategies and interventions that they could use. Then we moved to the total score. So if you had a total rubric score that was high, then we considered that a high support school. And so then we assigned district interventions for that school. For instance, if your rubric score was 22 or higher, then you would have interventions you would be required to do semester instructional rounds with the central office, with EPS staff, which means walkthroughs, going through and talking and looking to see what's wrong. You would be assigned quarterly data meetings with the EPS staff to look at your data, to see what your data is doing. Is it growing? Is it decreasing? So we can help with, and that's all data. That's PBIS data, benchmark data, attendance data, walkthrough data. Every one of the schools that had that kind of rubric would be required to do a 30-day instructional plan at the beginning. They would also present their school improvement plan once the test data came in and present that. And then also they would do a comprehensive needs assessment and meet with us. If your rubric score fell between a 17 and a 21, then you would be required something different. Along the same lines, but a little less. And then if your score was less than 14, then you could request any of the interventions, but you were not required to do those. So what we're trying to do is offer the support and the suggestions and the strategies on a case-by-case basis based on how you're scoring, so that schools can look at their scores and see where they can ask for and where they can be assigned. So that was the first topic. The second topic we talked about was the impending home base. And if those of you who got your packets last week, you got the day in the life, and Jill had requested that I give that when I went to home base. Now, we're in the middle of trying to roll out home base, but basically home base is the big name for the new framework that we're going to be running schools under. And under home base is the Power School, which is where the student information system is going to be, which is your old NCYs. Then you're going to have SchoolNet, which is your instructional improvement system, which is where we'll be getting our benchmark assessments, lesson plan templates that they'll be able to put in and upload, any kind of collaboration kind of tools. We might be able to replace Edmodo with those. And then also the new teacher evaluation instruments are going to be inside of home base, and they're called True North Logic. So all of that's going to be compiled into one place where a teacher logs on and can go all those places. So that's where a day in the life kind of describes once it's up and running. I can tell you that, Kay's been battling it all day. Delilah got notice today that the teacher evaluation system, it was full, nobody else could use it today. So anyway, we're going to be working through these things, but that's the way it's going to look once we get done. The third item that we discussed was the EPS staff asked for regular reports at the beginning of each year about the scholarship rates. And so Dr. Nolan presented the demographics for the scholarships. And so we talked about the percentage of scholarships that went out, and then who were attending four-year institutions, who were attending two-year institutions, and then who, and the breakdown, the ethnic breakdown of those. So she went through that with the report. And so those were the 3 topics. Any questions?
Mayor?
I do, Cheryl, in the overall scheme of things, when I was reading it, and it was, talking about the rubric and everything that it entails, if your school is at the highest rate, then you can kind of minimum support those individuals. What if you have schools with high teacher absenteeism? How do we address that?
When
I mean,
we
if
look
we
at-
have, how do I, or how do any of us impact the number of days in which our educators, not due to sickness, pregnancy, or they just, right,
Well,
how is that tracked?
That's part of the data. When you look at the intervention model that we've got, when we do the quarterly meetings at the
Okay.
schools that's got the high support, what we're assuming with high support is that if you've got a high teacher absence rate, then it's gonna impact everything.
Right,
So then that would throw you into a high support. And so that's part of the data we're gonna look at, not just students.
so that would make you
Mhm.
a high support instead of me getting a,
Right.
of no support. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Because if
right.
you're at the high end,
Then you're gonna be meeting with us, right, we've got
Minimum.
quarterly meetings, right, and we're gonna look at all that data.
but if I'm at the high end of teacher absence,
If your teacher absences are high, but
Right.
it's not impacting your students, we won't pick it up. Because we're not, in other words, like, the schools that have a really low rubric reading,
Yes.
that means their proficiencies are high, their
Yes.
effectiveness is high, that means all those other scores were high.
Mm-hmm.
So we would not, unless, now, everything that we do, a principal can request it.
right,
So if they saw that that was an issue, they could request us to come in and meet and talk about the data and all that.
Okay.
That's always available.
Right.
But us initiating that,
we wouldn't pick it
it
up.
wouldn't be.
Okay,
But, I doubt seriously if you've got an attendance issue with teachers, that it's not gonna impact somewhere along that line. So,
It will.
yeah. So that's part of the data we look at.
okay.
And a lot of times it's just looking at the data and asking the teacher, and then they start to become aware of it.
Yeah. I would like to ask if, once that home base program that Jill had sent out to us, if, once it gets up and running, that if someone from the curriculum department could present that on Spotlight,
Okay.
because it involves the teachers, it involves the students, and it involves the parents. And I just think that that would be good.
Once we get all the.
All the quirks
Yeah,
worked out.
yeah, we'll try to demonstrate.
Yes,
We can make him get on it.
probably February. The end of the year, but we appreciate that. Any questions? Amelia?
I just had a comment. In the meeting, I had mentioned to you that maybe we could strongly encourage community groups, churches, organizations that are providing scholarships to our schools to get that in earlier so it can be counting. That will help our schools look better in terms of the scholarships as well, because I know after school was out, I went to 3 or 4 events that students got scholarships and they were not reported.
And the students didn't get the recognition in front of them.
Exactly, and the students need that, exactly. So I have told some of the groups myself to please get it to the schools earlier, so maybe we could make a massive effort of trying to get that word out to, even if you're not going to present it until after school is out, but at least let the child name be called and recognized during awards day, because it's such an important event, because I've been every year to the awards events, at least at my high school, and which is Jay Close. And it's a wonderful day. And I just think we just need to celebrate our young people more, and it will encourage those that are coming up the ranks to apply, and we encourage them to apply for scholarships all the time and get the information. So if we could really work on that, I think that would help all of our schools, because there's a lot of money out there that our students don't sometimes hear about or get.
Christine?
I'd also like to say to Mildred, usually they have to declare where they're going to go in early May,
And if they don't know their full scholarship picture, they may not realize they could afford to go someplace. So it really is important to bump it up by the end of April, so that they have a clear picture of what their financial plan is.
Many of them make a decision early.
Oh, yes.
And based on.
Exactly, and I've been encouraging kids ever since I had students in school to start applying in September.
Yes.
When school opens, and if you apply to at least 5 universities, by December, you will be hearing from some of those universities with your scholarship money if you have worked hard to earn that. And I know it works, and so I've been telling students, just do it early because the big bucks are going to come early, but the early bird gets to so,
Any other
get it
questions?
done, yes.
Okay, thank you. Request board approval of career and technical education plan, David and Bethany Trueblood.
Good afternoon. In your packet, you received this nice little red packet, which is for Cricket State federal funding application. But along with that, I wanted to I gave you another sheet that Ms. Brenda was nice enough to put on your desk, but I wanted to highlight some great things that are going on in CTE before you guys voted on our plan. Right now, I did get into Power School before all the teachers got logged on, so it wasn't so bad, but currently we have 2,968 students who are enrolled in our CTE classes, which is about 44.5% of our high school students, which is great.
Awesome.
And if they pass all their classes, which, that's what we're counting on, it's a potential of 9,942 credits just in CTE this coming school year. Our proficiency last year, unofficially, is 82.8%. We rose our credentialing by over 200. We had 1,702 students credentialed in 17 areas, and I'm really excited about that. Our teachers worked really hard, and they put together 21 portfolios for honors credit. So our students will be receiving honors credit for some of our courses. We had 3 new course offerings this year: Entrepreneurship 2, Horticulture 2, Turf Management, and Firefighter Technology. We had 1 first place winner in state competition, HOSA, and 2 state officers that went to national competition, and that was in DECA and Skills USA. We are partnering again with the North Carolina Department of Transportation and Pitt Community College to offer Construction Career Day. In your packet, you got a little save the date. I encourage everybody to come to the fairgrounds on September the 18th or the 19th. Last year we had 19 counties that participated with 1,218 students. That was a real fun event, and on the back of that little save the date was pictures of the students having a really good time. We have a great partnership with Pitt Community College. We offer college courses on our campuses. We also test all of our seniors, and I know most of you guys have heard with the accountability model work keys. We test all of our seniors in Pitt County, not just the concentrators. And we do that through a grant with PCC and United Way, and we're really excited about that because students can take the work keys credentialing and present it at ASMO or DSM or Burger King, and get a part-time job when they're in college or go straight to work, and that's real exciting. They allow us to use their Career 101 software to prepare our students, which has been very beneficial. My major expenditures this year are staff development, which mostly was summer conference, and the equipment updates for our curriculum changes. And because of the new Perkins draft that they're working on, we're continuing to build partnerships in our community. And that's kind of my update. Do you guys have any questions?
I have a question. I'd like, excuse me, go ahead. I think this is essential with the total effort of the Pitt County school system to make sure when people walk across that stage, they have ample with what all to be ready. And my question is, do you get real good support here from our neighbors, ESM, whatever?
Yes, we do. We get a lot of support. Our Metrics gives us the opportunity to go tour their facility, DSM. I'm working with Mary Paramore with Pitt Community College for existing industries, as well as, well, he just left, but Scott Poe with Wanda Uhaas's office. We're working together to bring in some software and the community support. So me being semi-new to this position 2 years now, I'm trying to build those back up, and as far as the experience that I've had, we've had great community support.
Because what I see here in Pitt County, we got a lot of backyard, backdoor people, East Carolina University, Pitt Community College, a lot of industry, Vidant, and I guess what I would say to you is get experimental, reach out and grab whatever, because I think this is is a vital part of trying to make sure that our students are marketable, not only just here in Pitt County, but anywhere. And as I say, I've kind of studied this in my mind a little, but I kind of run out of what else to do. But, this is one thing I charge you to do, is just to look to see other places, not only Pitt County, maybe Wake County. Of course, Wake County's kind of bad name here now, since we don't get much money from that direction. But I think you understand what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
not only here, but anywhere else. Just try it.
Absolutely.
Sean?
I'm real excited about these new course offerings that I see, entrepreneurship 2, horticulture 2, turf management. I know we have a lot of turf at our schools that we could do some experiential education in. And firefighter technology 1. That is fantastic to see. My understanding is that that's going to be offered at Conley.
It is this year. That was where the interest was, and we're partnering with a lot of the fire stations, and we're hoping to expand that and get interest at some of the other schools as well.
I just want to say these are fantastic new courses, and with that, Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the career technical
I
education.
still have something to say.
Any more discussion?
Yes. But then, you and I spoke
Absolutely.
concerning this, and I was very excited. But also during that time, what I would like to see happen, especially with the community college part of this, is that we just appointed 2 new individuals to sit on that board to represent our district. And I would really like to see a joint effort from now on, I don't know how to do it because I haven't seen it, but I know that there's an opportunity there with the 2 new individuals on the board to open that line of communication up with us about how our students are doing as a whole and what their responsibilities and expectations are as appointees on that board, and to support us and to bring back and us share that information as a part of being a major part being played between us as a board, our parents, and our students. Because if our parents do not know this about these courses and where they're offered, then we're not doing right by these students.
Absolutely, and it's funny you say that. It's because Mr. Watford is here, and he is my liaison that I speak with for 912 and for our college career promise, and he and I talk on a regular basis about what we can do and what we can offer in our schools to give our students college credit as well as high school credit, because in society now it's very important that I think of my children. I want them to have some college credit when they go off to college, because that saves my pocket. So yes, ma'am.
And I think that there's an open, that openness there, and that open line of communication, that whatever they're doing on the board that represents our student and represents our parents and represent this board can be brought back and shared.
Absolutely.
And Mayor, I think those appointees, it would be good if they would have come at least twice this year to give us a report.
We said quarterly, we just said quarterly.
That sounds good.
We do. We need to see their faces.
Faces, and know who they are, and hear what they have to say.
And see what, but we also need to know what they're doing on behalf of our kids.
That's right.
And our parents, and that's important. So, I mean,
That's good.
we sit up here, we do a good job.
Yeah.
So they need to do a good job.
Let's go for it.
I have a discussion, but I'll wait until you get a motion on the floor.
Well, he made the motion, and Jill, I think, seconded.
Okay, got a motion and a second.
We were in discussion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to point out something that I've been very pleased with, and that is, working with, and I work with, in my job, I work with a lot of different kinds of models for education and different kinds of strategies for that. And one of those is through the New Schools Project. And of course, they think that they've reinvented education, but they spread it all across the state that they have. But career technical education has done and is doing what they claim makes great sense. One of those things is a classroom laboratory experience that we all understand and know. The academic area understands and knows that. The other two might not be quite as knowledgeable to people. One of those, of course, for career technical education is the applied learning. New Schools Project calls it project-based learning. And I think we do a good job of that. In Pitt County schools, maybe in the past, one thing that we have not emphasized as much, but I'm glad to see Beth Ann and David and all of the leadership, Michael, come together and understand it's just as important a component is the leadership part of that. And the re-emphasis of the career student organizations that you guys are beginning to incorporate into career technical education. That is vital. That's a piece of it that must continue to have continued emphasis and a strong backing. And I'm glad to see that we're doing that, and I would encourage that we continue to do that in Pitt County schools.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the plan, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Policy Committee update. First reading, policy 9.304. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We canceled our policy committee meeting for this month because this was the only thing on the agenda, actually, so we figured we could bring it to the whole board for first reading. This is policy 9.304 brought to the board for first reading. The one change in it regarding instructional time is the minimum of 1,000 instructional hours has been changed to 1,025 instructional hours.
Say that number again, Sean.
1,000 went from 1,000 to 1,025 instructional hours.
Okay. I hear any motion?
Question.
Questions?
First reading.
It's first reading, so do you have any questions?
How do we document number of hours? And how is that?
That would be a curriculum.
It's a curriculum.
In other words, I'm sure somewhere there's a piece of paper that says.
Yes, Ed can answer that.
We, take the minute the school starts, instruction, and the minute it stops, instruction, not counting breakfast or any of those kind of things. We take out the minutes for lunch, and then that gives us our instructional time.
Okay. Snow days, don't?
Yeah, you
Don't
have, over the calendar of a year, you take out early release time, you take out, what else?
Including weather days.
And then,
make those up.
So that's how you come
snow
up.
days, yeah, we make those.
Make those up. So that's how you come up with first day and last day. Is that? Okay.
And it's documented. Okay, any other questions regarding it? This is just first reading. All right? Comments by Michael?
Yes, we're ready to get started here. We've had a lot of good things discussed about Pitt County Schools, what a blessing it is to come to a meeting where we can spotlight those items: prepare teachers, inspire teachers, equip teachers. And I would dare say that is what we have done this summer. Congratulations to the curriculum department, human resources. You got Delilah, Cheryl, Tom, Bill, Seth, and Tim, who put a large number of hours out there to help prepare our teachers and our staff for the new school year. And also, what a great job our educators who take the time out of their own summer to come out and learn on how they can be better within the classroom, better instructors. And that's all for the best interest of all of our students, as well as Pitt County Schools as a whole. Welcome back to our teachers. A lot of them, over about 22,000 employees starting back to work this week, getting ready for the first day of school, because the students will be there no matter what, and they will be ready. So congratulations to our teachers coming back. I hope they had a very great summer and are ready to hit the ground running. We have high school freshman orientation through the Link Crew program this week. So we want to make sure, I got one of those students myself that is going into high school, so hopefully they will know where they were going on the first day of school. And tomorrow we at Cornerstone Baptist Church, we have a back-to-school celebration. We have fashion shows, we have music, motivational speakers, and school supply distributions. That starts tomorrow night at 5:30. Cheryl, Delilah, and myself will be there to help get students energized. And again, congratulations to our students. Welcome back next week. This is our last meeting before they come back to school. Look forward to them having a very successful year, and to their parents as well for a great start of the school year.
I also would like to welcome back the teachers and all the hard work that they have really put an effort in during the summer with no compensation. And they are to be commended, because we have had large numbers of teachers to be a part of that staff development. And also to the staff, there's a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes to get those programs out there, and for things to run smooth, and for teachers to know which school to go to and which program to sign up for. I really am excited about that TQP program, working with ECU, and that ECU is now on board with Pitt County in how they instruct their beginning teachers, so to speak, in coordinating the same instruction that we give here at Pitt County level. And just a big thank you to all of you and the hard work that you're putting in to what you're doing. And I'm just trying to keep the comments to a minimum tonight. Christine?
I want to thank all of you who worked so hard to make our teachers feel welcome. I was at the session at Lake Forest one day last week, and it was a nice looking crew of brand new teachers, a lot of enthusiasm there, and I was very pleased to be associated with that group. I would like to, if you have the opportunity when you meet with these people, to impress upon them that the students have a dress code, but so does the faculty. And what the students cannot do is in capital letters for what the teachers cannot do. That is the bare minimum standard for a professional. So I'd just like to go on record, we worked long and hard on that, and it will impact our students, but our teachers need to be aware that being prepared means coming dressed prepared.
Jennifer?
Welcome back to everyone, and only heard great comments from the sessions that were held this summer, so congratulations to all those people. And just want to encourage parents, even if you don't have a child in school, to take an extra pack of pens or school supplies to any of our schools. They all need them. There's always a need, a teacher wish list outside of somebody's door, and the schools in general always need paper, pens, any kind of school supplies. So I encourage our community to rally around our schools and do that. Thank you.
Jill?
Well, we put forth a huge effort to prepare, inspire, and equip our teachers. It strikes me that we're also, our teachers, their job is to prepare, inspire, and equip our students. And not to put a dark note on this, but it also strikes me that we're doing this despite the efforts of the state to actually do the opposite of all these things. They've done things that adversely affect the preparation, the inspiration, and the equipment of our teachers and students.
Mary?
I'd like to just say, welcome back to all the teachers, our veteran teachers, and our new and beginning teachers, the students and the parents, because that's going to be the key to getting them to the front door on the first day. I would also like to take the time to say thank you for the National Night Outs that we had this year. We had 22 in Pitt County and the city of Greenville, and our mayor, our police chief, our city manager, and the many police officers that came out, and the kids had an opportunity. I know Kimberly Carney is our neighborhood association president. She did an excellent job, and Mr. and Mrs. Taft hosted it in their cul-de-sac, but the kids had an opportunity to see the police department and even the police dogs in a different light. And, you know, that camaraderie and everybody getting together in the neighborhood, they did a wonderful job to get through 22 events. I would also like to thank the whole schools that did the CSI and the beginning teaching, which was Lake Forest and D.H. Conley. We heard nothing but wonderful things about the work that these principals did on their schools' behalf, and thanks Cheryl and Delilah. Michael, I worked very hard. It was been, thank you. And I have one other thing. I know that Michael mentioned the Cornerstone was doing something tomorrow, but over at the Mobile Center on Wednesday, August the 22nd, they'll be hosting a meet and greet and back to school session with school supplies and try to help some of those minimum needs, and that'll be from 5 to 7. So if you get some of those penny deals, 10-cent deals, drop them by the Mobile Center, they could use them.
Mary, you said Thursday's the 22nd, the Wednesday, or Thursday?
I'm going to just tell you, let it pass me the note. And it's a meet and greet. It said she got Wednesday, August the 22nd, but none of us had a calendar. So
open houses are the 22nd.
So maybe it's Wednesday. It might be that Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
Either way, just drop something by there. There you go. Or give it to me, I'll give it to them. It doesn't matter. But again, I'd like to say thank you, and I hope everybody have a safe school year. With all the new tech stuff we got going on, I'm pretty excited myself.
Hey, Billy?
Yes, tonight, the county commissioners are doing a resolution for the teachers, and I'd like for us to piggyback on that maybe at the next meeting.
Okay.
They've got a resolution tonight, trying to help out these teachers, just trying to do more. Where the senators and all these Republicans have cut all this money out, they're trying to rally to help these teachers out.
Okay. Sean?
I'll be in full support of what Mr. Peen just suggested. And I had several comments to make tonight, but I crossed them all off, and I would like to welcome everyone back, and I know this in my heart. 2012, 2013, you can mark these words here tonight, and I'm sure we would all echo them. This will be a historic year for Pitt County schools. We have a lot of change on the horizon, and there will be sentinel events that occur this school year that will set a course for Pitt County schools for the future. I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'd just like to say that ditto what's been already said about welcoming all our faculty, staff, students, and all back to school. And also like to say I had the opportunity on Saturday to attend the back to school fair at Sycamore Hill Baptist Church. It was a 3 to 4 hour event. Got a chance to encourage students. Actually, I spoke to the parents and students to have a great year and told parents what they need to do to prepare their children. And as I always have done for years, and actually it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And they gave out backpacks with school supplies to 200 plus students that I saw come through. So it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And then we had a chance to go Saturday evening to the Hilton to hear from one of our J.H. Rose High sons, who is president of Delaware State University. Dr. Harry L. Williams is the president of that school, over 5,000 students, and he was in Greenville. And he came to say thank you to his church, which was Selvage Chapel's Free Baptist Church, for being there for him. He thanked many people in the audience, and my family included, which was so exciting because he used to run by our house. He was a cross-country runner, and it's an awesome thing to know that young people can start out any type way, but it's not where you begin, it's where you end. And he's a living example of that. He grew up right in the heart of West Greenville, and he is now president of Delaware State University. And I just like to share the 7 points that he talked about that made a difference in his life, with his church speaking to him, with the community, parents, all these people that just embrace him, just the little things. Just like he mentioned, my husband just said, just keep running, son, just run. And he has ran, and now has a very successful position, and he's 49 years old, graduate of J.H. Rose High, a beautiful wife that has her PhD, but he talked about respect, being honest, giving of yourself, volunteering, giving others your care, passion, giving others help, giving your experience, and just giving back was just so powerful. So I just like to say kudos to Dr. Harry Williams, and he was here for the mortgage burning for Several Chapel Free Baptist Church. So congratulations, Bishop H. Hartsfield, for such a fine member of your church that have gone on from this community and has been very successful on the 112th anniversary. And also on this Thursday, the 22nd, is open house in all of our schools, and I've been telling parents to get out to those open houses. K-8 schools is 4 to 6:30 p.m. if your child is in kindergarten through 8th grade. If they're in 6th through 8th, 5 to 7:30 p.m., and also 9 to 12th grade, 6 to 8:30 p.m. That's this Thursday, open house for your children, and parents get out and learn all you can and just be there. And I've done this consistently over the years, encouraging parents to do that. And this, like my colleague is saying, is going to be a super historic year. And I just told my students a few minutes ago that we got a lot of work to do, so many policy changing, and so we got a lot of work to do, all of us. And also school opens next Monday, 8/26, so be ready, all of you. And I like to say prepare the teachers, the inspire them, equip the teachers, and we can say the same thing to our students as well as our families.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to echo what everybody else has said. Welcome back, the teachers and the students. We look forward to another successful year and very enthusiastic year. And the only other thing I'd like to just point out real briefly, Mr. Chairman, is that even though we went through a very challenging North Carolina General Assembly this past year, specifically and especially as it related to education, it just seems like sometimes some of the emphasis was placed on teacher salaries as far as, well, they're only 10-month employees and their day ends at 3 o'clock. But I just would like to point out that teachers and administrators go well beyond the call of duty, and their day is well beyond an 8 to 3 school day. And they work very, very hard and diligently in the summertime and all during those times that they don't get compensated for, except maybe a thank you. And I want to thank them for that. And specifically what I'm about to say is this, particularly when it comes to principals and all of the additional responsibilities that they have, having to deal with sports and athletics and being at school, all during the times that the rest of us are doing other things, and but they're still there and they're part of that, and I want to recognize that and thank them for that. And the latest is this: they even give up their Sunday sometimes, because this coming Sunday at Blackjack Original Free Will Baptist Church, Will Sanderson has agreed to come and give the message. And he could be with his family that day, and he could be at his church that day, but he chose to be a part of that service, and he chose to be a part of it because it was the community that was involved with the school that he's at now. And those are the kinds of things that is worth so much to our schools and makes this community and this county a tremendous county when it comes to education. So I just want to make that people aware of that.
Thank you. Robert?
Mr. Chairman, being out of town for a while, had the opportunity to write down some things, and based on the interest of time, just let me cherry pick real quick. First, welcome to the 2013-2014 school year. In spite of the funding challenges the school system continues to face, I pledge to do everything I can to make sure that we meet all challenges head on and provide a safe and orderly environment filled with high-quality instructions for the students. In spite of the funding challenges, I am, and keep these words together here, aggressively optimistic. We see that word optimistic used so many other ways, but we are aggressively optimistic about the future of Pitt County schools. We have high expectations. We all know what the mission statement says. Educators, I've got here. The key word is proficiency. Always keep your mind on that. Who is proficient? We ought to always go back every now and then to make sure that we are on the straight and narrow as far as our teaching terms. For parents, a little different message. We need to deep dive into your students' experience. What are they working on at school? What are they doing? Be a part of it, because with the funding challenges we've had, teachers are going to be exposed to do more, and it's going to have to be volunteers to help them. And it all comes from home. I appeal to you to monitor your children, know what they're doing in school, and especially their behavior and attitudes. Parents, you are very important in the educational process of your child. Make sure you look at their behavior and attitudes to make sure that they are right when they enter the classroom, and make sure they have respect for the teachers. I want to recognize the hard work that teachers who continue to give their best, and soon the Raleigh deal will have to be thrown behind us, and we're just going to have to pull up our sleeves and do hard work. And the expectation is that students who enter the classroom is going to be the same. I'll pray for God's guidance as we recommit our energies to making the 2013-2014 school year a rewarding experience. Whether you are an employee, student, parent, business owner, community leader, or resident, you play an important part in the success of our school district. Should you have any questions, there are 12 of us today. Don't mind calling and asking us. We're there for that. There are plenty of opportunities for you to become involved. and the key word there again is become involved and stay informed. And I encourage your partnership, as has been said here tonight, and support as we prepare every Pitt County school student for a successful future. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you.
Excellent.
Kind of hard to follow that. Shout or something. I would like to say, the positive face of Pitt County Schools was presented tonight. Brock, thank you. It's always good to hear positive comments and to be able to show that to the rest of the county, and I'm most appreciative of your efforts. And how I wish that in 1960, I'd had this book, Beginning Teacher Introduction Program, because after being thrown to the wolves, this would have really saved my soul.
Yes.
So that's great. Thank you.
Okay. I move that we go into closed session to prevent the disclosure of student information that is confidential under 20 U.S.C. 1232G and GS 115C 402. Consult with our attorney to preserve their attorney-client privilege on the matters including Francis W. Routham versus Pitt County Board of Education, Beverly Emory, Charlie Langley, Tommy Peacock, Pitt County's Superior Court Number 12, CVS 2936, and establish or instruct the staff or agent concerned in negotiation of the amount of compensation or other terms of the employment contract. Consider qualifications, competence, performance, conditions of appointment of a public officer or employee. To consider personnel information made confidential by GS 115C 319, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against a public officer or employee, and approval of closed session minutes from August 5th, 2014.
Second.
Sean, second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. 3 minutes.